You're listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Louisiana. So, Lauren?
Yes, Kenzie?
Let's get scary.
We have Millie here again. So we're going to have some clinking clanks in the background.
Which you
potentially,
couldn't hear the last
which you probably can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you. So, you know how I told you, when I watch TV shows and someone's in an elevator, I always get scared that someone's going to get stuck?
No.
Oh, every time I watch TV, if the characters are in an elevator, the entire time they're in there, I'm waiting for them to get stuck.
Even if it has nothing to do with the plot line?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I just fear it.
That's hilarious.
So I was watching my show last night. Character got stuck in the elevator.
Well, now your anxiety is warranted because they actually got stuck.
I texted mom and I was like, he got stuck in an elevator. But it was actually good that he did, but also bad. But then he had a nervous breakdown, which I knew was going to happen. Oh, God, Wentworth, please. It's so good.
Okay, speaking of elevators, I have a question.
Okay.
So one of the grocery stores I go to, it's you like have the garage and you have to go up.
Gross, yes.
Okay, but you've always said that you feel better in glass elevators.
Yes.
So this is like a giant glass elevator, so you can see like outside and like all that. Obviously, it only goes up to the second floor because that's it. So it's not like it goes up very high. So I didn't even mind. But it was interesting because it did make some weird clinky noises. But I felt like because I could see everything.
Right.
And so I was wondering, even though it's like when you're down on the bottom, it doesn't look like it's glass. Because it's right. But once you go up, you're like, okay, cool. Would that, even though it was making weird noises, would you be less nervous?
Yes. Because as long as I can see it moving, then I'm good.
Yeah.
Like when I went to go visit our friend who went to Liberty, we went into that big glass observatory thing.
Yeah.
And you get in an elevator. Well, the first like 10 floors, you don't know it's a glass elevator. So I told her, I was like, I'm only doing this because I love you.
Yeah.
And so I got in and like there was like a glass strip in the corner. So I like stared out that. And then all of a sudden after the 10th floor or whatever, it opens up into a full glass elevator. And I was like, amazing.
Yeah, my thing with glass elevators is that above a certain height, it is no longer now useful for me because like now I know how up high I am.
Well, that's how I was in Seattle. We went up into the Space Needle and you take an elevator and it's a glass elevator, which is fine. But my thing too was if we get stuck, I'm so high up that a firefighter can't save me and I don't know how we'll get down. That was also my fear. So I was like squeezing Christine's hand. She's like, ow, Lauren. I was like, I'm sorry I'm on an elevator for you and for me, but still.
That's like the part that sucks is I wish there was a way for me to be able to get to up high places without having to gradually go up high. Because half the battle is getting up there. Well, and then I'm already freaked out by the time I get up there, so then I want to get down.
The elevator was quick. I even looked it up online to know how long it would take. It was like 80-something seconds. So it was pretty quick, but it was still...
That's almost a minute and a half.
Maybe it was less. I can't remember. 48 seconds, 84, something like that. But anywho, our tour guy, well, the guy who operated the elevator, he just tells you about things as you're going up. And I was like, oh, thank you. I need the distraction.
I would just be sitting there holding my friend's hand, like not super, super tightly, but like definitely my hand would be sweating and just with my eyes closed, listening.
Oh, no, my eyes are open because you could see like Mount Rainier off in the distance. And I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, but you could see like the helipad that they have for Grey's Anatomy. Like it was cool. It was a lot of really cool information.
Could you have seen that stuff when you were already at the top?
Yeah. But he's telling you as you're going up as well. So you can kind of see it.
I'll just put faces to names once I'm up there.
It was terrifying though.
Yeah.
Like I took a picture on like one of the glass floors so you can take the picture from up above.
No.
I had to crawl to it. I like couldn't walk to it. I had to crawl.
I've really just come to terms with a lot of things that I just am going to have to miss out on.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to miss out on the Space Needle. I had nervous poops the whole time, but I made it.
Okay.
Louisiana. By the way, we're drinking a nice white wine tonight. It's a Pinot Grigio, so I just think I need to...
I'm going to get silly.
I just need to say that before we get into the episode and people are like, why are they acting like
They'd
this?
probably notice later on anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we act too different because we're both already loud, you know.
Depends on how much wine we have.
Yeah.
And the last time we ate.
Yeah, because Kansas was an episode.
Kansas was an amazing episode.
That was so fun. Okay. Louisiana's wetlands are some of the country's youngest, and they teem with life. Sprawling over bayous and swamps and bustling with alligators, anoles. I talked about that the other day at work.
Anoles?
Yes. I thought it was pronounced anole, and we realized it's anoles.
Like cannoli?
No. Well, kind of. Anole. One of those, but it's like, I think, like a lizard.
Oh.
Yeah. And more than 200 species of birds. The Barataria.
I know how to say that when I asked Dad. Hold on. Barataria.
preserves, 23,000 acres, hold the rich ecological bounty of the Mississippi River. One of the 6 sites that make up
Jean Lafitte.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
That name may come back later.
Maybe.
National
so will bear. What is it again?
I don't know. Let me finish reading the thing first.
Barataria.
So, ding. National Historic Park and Preserve.
Barataria.
Is crisscrossed with boardwalks and trails such as the Bayou.
No idea.
Coquille Trail and the Palmetto Trail. I know I didn't say that right. I'm sorry. Snakes and
Palmetto, you did.
Thank you.
And Bayou.
Well, see, I know those.
Okay.
But the other one, no. Snakes and other wildlife won't always avoid the boardwalk.
They will always avoid the boardwalks. Sometimes you might see a snake on the boardwalk.
You might, so keep your eyes peeled and watch where you put your hands.
I would never fucking put my hands on a mound of dirt.
What looks like a mound of dirt could be a fire ant colony.
Who the fuck? A mound of dirt. Hands. Like, what the fuck? Sorry. I thought that when I first read it and just had to get it out.
As long as we're given the warnings, you know?
Yeah.
Canoe and kayak through the waterways for an up-close look at the residents. I don't think I'm going to be doing that in Louisiana.
So what's funny, though, is I thought that you would love to do this because of the snakes coming up on the boardwalk. The snake girl.
I don't want to be bit by one that could be poisonous. I would like to see them from a distance. Well, no, I want a snake. But those snakes that I want, I know they're not poisonous. Venomous. Sorry, someone might come at us. Venomous.
There is a difference.
I know. My favorite animal, the blue ring octopus, one of my favorite animals, it's both poisonous and venomous.
Ooh.
I know.
Double whammy.
I know, I love it. So back to this place.
Yes.
Just check with rangers before you head out, as some areas become impassable after too much vegetative growth. The city of New Orleans was founded in 1718, and just a few years later, many African people were brought to the city as slaves. The mix of African, French, and Spanish influences gave Louisiana, and particularly the city of New Orleans, a unique culture.
Boss food.
Oh, yes.
I talk about it.
Of course. Coyotes, American beavers, muskrats, and swamp rabbits are some of Louisiana's mammals.
Okay, so remember when a few episodes ago I said something about, like, there's animals, like, you know about but you forget about?
Yeah.
Beaver. Also, a swamp rabbit?
Yeah, we're going to have to look up what that is afterwards because I did not know that was a thing.
Same.
Because actually, I learned that rabbits can't get too wet because their fur kind of holds in the water. And so if you don't dry them properly and they don't dry fully, their skin can get all messed up.
Is it like kind of like a chinchilla?
Yes. We talked about this one day because
Me and you?
No.
Oh.
Our friend Brie,
Yes.
she has rabbits.
Yes.
And so we go into deep discussions about rabbits.
I sent her a TikTok of this bunny and this dog friend, and I said, too bad Zoe would eat the bunnies.
Yeah, exactly. The state's best known reptile might be the American alligator, but the area is also home to alligator snapping turtles.
Those are prehistoric dinosaurs, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Yes, they are. Constrictors called Louisiana pine snakes and venomous harlequin coral snakes. Water snakes are also really scary because they're also poisonous and they can venomous, and they can swim.
If you're really going to get all butthurt about the difference between poisonous and venomous, go listen to a different podcast.
Someone might. Just know we do know the difference.
I mean, if you want to get frustrated in your head, I get it. Because the amount of times I get frustrated when people say wrong verbiage for things, don't get me wrong. Howsoever, if you're actually going to tell us, please don't.
We already know.
Yeah.
Louisiana's top natural resources include fertile soil, natural gas, and oil. Louisiana is also the biggest U.S. producer of salt.
I love salt.
I do too.
I fucking love salt.
Okay, so have you seen that TikTok? Maybe
Probably.
it's on Facebook. It's a guy who talks about every time he goes to the store, he always buys the same thing, even though he has so much at home. It's like some weird thing. Like he goes to the store and he always has to buy it. And then he gets home and realizes he already has it. And he's like, oh, I already have it.
Yeah.
And he goes to the store and he buys it again. That's me with cornstarch and salt. I have...
Okay.
I have 4
How many
huge...
things are you making with cornstarch?
None. Rarely ever. So when a recipe calls for cornstarch, I'm like, I clearly need cornstarch. I don't. I have 3 jugs of it at home. And then salt, I have 4 of those big things like this. I'm like, why do I keep buying salt?
That is insane.
I have the iodized salt. I have table salt. I have all the different salts. I don't need all the different salts.
No, you don't.
So I don't even know. But yeah, so salt.
I don't
Louisiana,
think there is anything I do that for.
I don't know. It's weird.
I don't usually make things outside of my comfort zone.
I do. I try to.
Yeah, I know.
Louisiana is known for its unique Creole, a mix of Spanish, French, African, and other cuisine, including jambalaya, a mixture of spicy rice, meat, and seafood.
I love jambalaya.
Your grandma makes it, right? And she makes it less spicy for you?
Okay, so before you put me on blast, okay. having people, like having family that is not only from New Orleans, but still lives there.
Right.
Is why I'm so embarrassed about my lack of ability to eat spicy foods.
You just have to build up a tolerance.
I got it from my mother, obviously not from my father.
Right.
Because she's from Long Island and she has the taste buds of a white woman from Long Island.
See, Salt
is too much for her.
I used to be like not the super spicy person. Now, love it.
Okay, but there's no gradualness in New Orleans when it comes to spicy.
No, that's why you start here so that when you get to New Orleans, you can handle it.
Yeah.
You just have to start small, like a little bit of Texas Pete on your eggs. I don't like the taste of Texas Pete though, so don't start with that.
Start out with this thing that actually tastes nasty.
I don't like the taste of it. Start with Cholula. Yum. And it's like, it's not hot, but it gives you a little bit of heat so you can start to get the feel of hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kind of gradually move up from there.
Well, that's why I love my grandma's, because it gives you all the taste and it doesn't burn off your tongue.
Oh, I know, but sometimes that extra spice just...
I don't mind a little kick, a little extra something, something. I used to think Chipotle chicken was spicy.
When I was younger, I thought steak was too.
I think I might still find the steak a little spicy.
And now I get the hot sauce on it, and I add my Tabasco.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Chipotle Tabasco. Oh,
honestly, usually what ends up happening is they put andouille sausage in there.
Oh, yum.
And that shit is spicy as hell. I'm pretty sure it's andouille sausage is spicy.
Chorizo?
Andouille sausage? Is
yeah.
That what that
Are you
is?
thinking chorizo? Chorizo can be spicy.
I'm talking about jambalaya.
Yeah, I think they put chorizo in jambalaya.
They put andouille sausage. Are those the same thing?
No.
Okay.
But I didn't think andouille sausage was spicy.
Either that or the Cajun seasoning, one of the two.
Oh, sweet child.
Okay, but I love the food and I really wish I could have spicy food, but it makes me so uncomfortable and I end up shoveling in so much bread. But it's so good.
We'll build your tolerance. We'll build it.
All
it's
right,
going to take time, but we'll build it.
That's your homework.
Okay. I got this. Ooh, that would be so fun. Ooh, I'm so excited.
Oh, God.
Okay.
She's gonna kill me.
Yeah. No. Reptiles must be kept at least 200 yards away from the Mardi Gras parade route.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. 201, you're fine. 200, Louisiana has more than 4,000 miles of navigable waterways and 3,260 square miles of river surfaces, landlocked bays, and inland lakes.
This just seems like a lot.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah.
The Mississippi River exits the U.S. below New Orleans into the Gulf of Mexico. It is 2,350 miles long, and it drains 41% of the U.S. and 3 Canadian provinces, 1.2 million square miles. Dang.
I think eventually, like, all roads lead to Rome. That saying? All roads lead to Rome.
Okay.
I feel like all rivers in the U.S. eventually lead to the Mississippi.
That makes sense.
Even if it's not like direct, it's like this river, then this river, then that river, and then the Mississippi.
Right.
Yeah. All rivers lead to the Mississippi.
The Mississippi River drainage basin is the 4th largest in the world, exceeded only by the watersheds of the Amazon, Congo, and Nile rivers.
Isn't that crazy?
That is,
because those are like long, big-ass rivers.
Big rivers.
So like we're in the top 5.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool.
There are 39 species of crayfish in Louisiana.
Raw fish.
I was going to ask you, there's crayfish, there's crawfish, there's crawdads, those are like the 3 ways.
Raw fish.
I know.
Crawfish.
There are different ways to say it based on where you live.
In Louisiana.
Like crawfish.
Crawfish.
I was going to ask you too how you say it.
Crayfish is C-R-A-Y.
There's different ways to say it, Mackenzie. There's that test called how you speak or where you're from based on how you speak. It's now behind a paywall, so you can't take it. But
she means at work.
No.
Oh, in general?
Yeah, it's behind a paywall.
Oh, well,
so you can't take it anymore. But yeah, when I took it, it was like, you're least like these southern places and you're most like Virginia, like Raleigh, North Carolina. It did say I was like Texas-ish because of y'all. And Jacksonville, Florida. I was like, that makes no sense, but whatever. But yeah,
crawfish.
That was one of the questions. It was like, do you say crawfish, crayfish, or crawdads or whatever?
I feel like the crawdads is like a very specific region.
Yeah, I always say crayfish now that I think about it. I don't say crawfish. Anywho.
You are cray for saying crayfish.
Do you know how to say this lake?
Lake Pontchartrain?
Okay. The Lake Pontchartrain Causeway, with the length of 23.87 miles, is the world's longest bridge built entirely over water.
Yeah. Fly over it when you fly into New Orleans.
Oh. The upper...
I have no idea.
Pontalva Apartments opened in 1850 on New Orleans Jackson Square and are the oldest continuously occupied multifamily apartments in America.
Which means they're haunted.
That's really cool, though.
It's very fucking cool, which is why I included it in there. But you know those things are haunted as fuck.
Oh my God, yes.
And whenever I'm watching House Hunters and they give like, oh, this is more than 50 years old, haunted.
My coworker's house is about to turn 100.
Haunted.
They're going to have a, it's like a centennial, 100 years, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have a centennial party.
That is so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Like 20s themed, like 1920s themed.
That is so fun.
I know.
That's very creative.
Yes.
I really like that.
Yes.
That's
I think
good.
it's next year that it turns 100, something like that.
Yeah.
But very soon.
Very nice. Very nice.
The University of Louisiana at Lafayette is the only university in the U.S. with a swamp on its campus.
Cray cray.
Haunted.
You'd say it's cray and fishy.
You are such a dork.
Well, at least I say it right with crawfish.
Crawl, cray, whatever. Let us know how you guys say it.
Yeah, let us know. And if you say crayfish, you're wrong.
All right, that's Louisiana.
That's Louisiana.
All right, Mackenzie, what spooky tale do you have for us tonight?
I have one that's real spooky.
Okay.
First and foremost, no, I will not be going here, ever.
Okay.
Especially in night.
I told you we'll start off easy.
I'm never going here.
Okay.
You're never going here.
Oh, okay.
We're not going.
Okay. Because there are some places where we do draw the line.
This is my line.
Okay.
Because this haunted bar might actually be the most haunted bar in the world.
Oh, a bar.
Yeah.
Oh, but fun.
Daytime, max.
We were talking to a fellow paranormal person today, and we brought up Gatsby's Tavern, which is in Alexandria, and it's haunted, and I do want to go with you. But aren't you glad that I told you it's haunted before I take you there? Like, what if I just took you there one day and I was like, by the way, this place is haunted?
I'd probably be mad for a little bit.
Until I got drinks in you.
And then, well, you would have to tell me after we left, because if you told me when we were there, I would leave immediately.
But now you know. So
which is
now
going to
we
make it
go.
harder to get there.
But I will entice you with alcohol.
You paying?
No.
Okay, then.
So around on me.
I don't know what I'm enticed with.
Just the thought of alcohol. And a magical evening with your best friend.
We could do that now. So we have alcohol, and I'm really happy here. So this bar is one of the oldest structures in America. It predates the Revolution, and patrons are transported back in time with the building's exposed brick and lack of electricity.
Oh.
During the daytime, this isn't much of an issue. But at nighttime, the bar is only lit by candlelight.
Okay. Not gonna lie. I love that.
Of course you do.
I love it. I'm very particular about my lights. I hate overhead lights. Rooms have to have like the nice warm glow.
I don't mind a little ambiance, but this is far past ambiance. This is eerie.
I love it. Continue.
So this 2-story brick French-style rectangular building has stood in the same spot since the mid-1700s.
Oh my gosh.
At the corner of Bourbon Street and St. Philip Street in the French Quarter. It was built and used as a residence by Nicholas Taus between 1722 and 1732. Exact dates are unknown.
I'm sorry, what's it called again? Have you gotten there yet?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay,
my
sorry.
bad. No, I probably should tell you. I thought I did.
Oh.
It's Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop Bar.
Okay.
Then it was reconstructed by Bartholomew Robert
Okay.
and his family in 1772. The building is one of the few remaining original French architecture. The building escaped 2 fires, one in 1788 and one in 1794, which claimed many of the original buildings in the area, which is why most of it looks like Spanish style because of when the Spanish took over.
But you know what's weird to think about, and especially because we're really close to the 4th of July? So all of this stuff happened like right after.
Yeah.
Which is just so weird to think about. Like it was there before we became like a country.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just weird to think about.
Something even weirder?
Yeah.
My dad, the year he was born, was the year that the flag finally had all 50 stars.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Like our grandparents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Could
We talked
tell
about that
us
once.
About states that weren't a state yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just weird. Like the time of everything.
It's cray-cray. Time is not as long as we think it is.
No.
Louisiana became a U.S. territory as part of the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 and was admitted to the Union in 1812. And then it left again at the Civil War, and then it came back.
Yeah.
Legend says that around this time, brothers Jean and Pierre Lafitte owned the building and used it as a blacksmith shop. Some people say butcher shop.
Mm-hmm.
Some aren't even sure he was actually there. They also used it as a front for smuggling goods into New Orleans and became known as the most notorious criminals of their time.
There we go.
At least in there. Lafitte is believed to have been born in either the French Basque Country in France or the French colony of Saint-Domingue in the Caribbean. Not Santo Domingo, because that's Spanish, and this was when the French had it. I Googled it. By 1805, Lafitte was operating a warehouse, what is now the Blacksmith bar.
Right.
To help distribute goods he smuggled with his brother
Pierre. Paris, Paris.
Yeah. Well, French. The brothers would steal goods from foreign ships and bring their loot back to New Orleans. As their illegal enterprise made more and more money, they decided to get their own ships to speed up the time it took to get their smuggled goods to merchants and other interested parties in New Orleans. The Embargo Act of 1807 was a law passed by the United States Congress and signed by President Thomas Jefferson. The act aimed to impose a general embargo on all foreign trade, effectively halting all American exports and restricting imports. So they couldn't steal from foreign ships that they weren't allowed in. This caused the Lafitte brothers to move their enterprise to the island of Barataria in Barataria Bay, which is in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh.
This island was just a hop, skip, and a jump from New Orleans, but far enough from the American Navy and custom officers, which I'm very upset that my dad has not taken me on more of these adventures out to these islands I didn't know existed.
Be mad at him.
Yeah.
Start a fight.
Although he was the one to tell me how to pronounce these.
Okay, we'll give him a pass.
Yeah.
And Joe gets a pass.
Yeah. Not your Joe.
Well, yeah.
My dad's name is also Joe.
Your Joe.
That's weird.
I know.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's almost like when the kids are like, Mrs. Nil. No, just Miss. I'm not married to my father. That's weird.
Ew.
Exactly. What you just said? Ew. They set up their own little kingdom, complete with women and other pirates. Although I wouldn't consider them pirates because they stole from ships but weren't necessarily on a ship.
I think still the act of stealing from a ship could be
good
piracy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just seems weird. They're land pirates.
I think it's anything with stealing because there's like, you can be a pirate if you steal like videos from the movie theater, remember?
Oh, yeah. And you record it and then try to resell it. Oh, man. I forgot about that.
I know.
Jean Lafitte supposedly had many mistresses, but as one legend claims, only one was his true love.
That seems to be always how it is with these pirates.
Well, there's a lot of different supposed mistresses he may or may not have had.
Mm-hmm.
One person said that this particular mistress was the wife of the governor of Louisiana.
Oh.
Which, of course, then makes an enemy of the governor.
Right.
And so then they became nosy in his operations. Another website I saw, too, showed that, like, one governor had to go, like, on a leave of absence. And so then this governor took in, and I think it was this governor that he was supposedly having the affair with his mistress. And he didn't like him and his brothers. But then when the other governor came back, he was like, what are you talking about? You know, playing stupid.
Right.
Yeah. Other, possibly slightly more official, sources say that the smuggling operations reduced the amount of revenue collected by customs officers, and American authorities were determined to halt the business in Barataria. Eventually, the Lafitte operation was shut down by annoyed government entities, and they, along with their men, were arrested. Because no one wants their shit stolen.
Right.
While out on bail, Jean Lafitte was contacted by British officers for a spot in the British Navy if he helped them attack New Orleans.
Interesting.
Facing jail and hoping to get his still incarcerated brother free, Lafitte told the U.S. authorities and worked out a deal for himself and his brother. Lafitte committed himself and his men for any defensive measures needed by New Orleans. Lafitte had sent letters to Jean Blanc, a member of the state legislature who had invested in the Barataria operation. So, shady.
Yeah.
What are those people called? Shady?
Shades.
Like government officials. Not shady government officials, but like, what's the term when good people are supposed
Corrupt?
Thank you. Corrupt. Oh. Yes, that. On a personal note, Lafitte reminded Blanc that his brother Pierre was still in jail and deserved an early release. Within 2 days of Lafitte's notes, Pierre escaped from jail. Lafitte and his fleet helped General Andrew Jackson during the Battle of New Orleans to defend the city in the War of 1812. Afterwards, the Lafitte brothers and their men were pardoned. Apparently, they were like a big deal, like even mentioned in like battle documents.
Oh, wow.
Whatever they're supposed to write up afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
That's like a thing.
The minutes.
This guy shot first. And then we moved into this position.
Becky wouldn't stop talking.
Bob asked a question that could easily have been an email. See, I told you they were going to know that we were drinking wine.
We just become even more of our target audience when we drink wine.
Yeah, it narrows that down a bit, don't you think? Lafitte subsequently became spies for the Spanish during the Mexican War of Independence. So they pieced out from America, went somewhere else, and tried to go to the side of the Spanish, which really in that situation would have been the bad guys because they were the conquistadors. And Mexico was like, fuck you. Also, did you know that during the Revolution, most people did not want to revolt?
That makes sense, yeah.
That's what I said. And I was like, that makes so much sense for how we do fucking everything to this day.
Yeah.
Because there was a handful of people that wanted to do it. Don't get me wrong. I am glad to not be.
Howsoever.
It's interesting that they're like, everyone. I'm like, no.
Right.
It's not fucking everyone.
It's just the loudest.
It's the white men in power. Funny how that works.
Not much has changed.
In 1817, Jean founded a new colony on Galveston Island named Campeche. At its height, the colonists and privateers earned millions of dollars annually from stolen or smuggled coins and goods. One rumor about Jean Lafitte claims that Lafitte rescued French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte from exile, and both of them ended their days in Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
Another rumor says that Lafitte faked his death and moved to Lincolnton in North Carolina in 1823 under the name Lorenzo Ferrier. Research was done on this theory and found some possible truth to this claim.
Oh, wow.
Supposedly, he met a family from Lincolnton while in Mississippi who persuaded him to move back to North Carolina. He did so at the age of 59 and lived there until he died in 1875, although some say that he had a child with one of his mistresses, actually with a lot of his mistresses, and he died in like 1820, so I don't know.
No way to know.
Yeah, he's kind of like a little bit of a King Arthur, Robin Hood kind of legend.
Oh, okay.
Type of thing. He helped found the Mason Lodge in Lincolnton, and the lodge has in their possession a sword from the early 1800s with the inscription J. N. Lafitte on the blade.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Very little is known about Lafitte, and speculation about his life and death continues among historians. So over the last 300 years, the building was used as a residence, cafe, ice cream store, and other commercial businesses. Its first liquor license is dated in 1933, where it was managed by Mary Collins. In the 1940s, the bar was owned by Roger Tom Kaplinger, who turned it into Café Lafitte. The cafe became a popular night spot that attracted a bohemian clientele.
Oh, I like that.
Including the gay community and celebrities like Noel Coward and Tennessee Williams.
Oh!
However, Kaplinger never held a clear title to the property, and the building was sold in 1953. He soon opened a second cafe at the other end of the same block and named it Café Lafitte in Exile.
Oh.
And at the grand reopening party in 1953, patrons arrived costumed as their favorite exile, including people like Oscar Wilde, Dante, and Napoleon.
I love that.
Isn't that great?
I love that.
And this place is considered one of the oldest gay bars in the United States.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it's now declared a National Historic Landmark in the 1970s. And then Joseph Licciardi, I put in parentheses, said how it is spelled. I'm pretty sure owns the Blacksmith shop today, or at least that's the last person I could find that owned it.
Cool.
So, not just here to tell you a cool thing of history.
Got to drink the wine for this one, huh?
And about pirates. Let me just give a little backstory here.
Okay.
When I was looking things up, I clicked on this thing. I was like, a bar. Cool. Click. I'm reading it. I'm like, ooh, Pirate Brothers. That'll be interesting. And then I keep reading it. And as I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, read date.
Right.
I did not watch any fucking videos. The only videos I watched were like historical background.
Right.
No.
Nothing scary.
No, absolutely not. Staff and customers have reported numerous ghostly sightings over the years.
And this is not at the In Exile one. This is the normal one.
Yes, this is the one that's not down the street.
Right.
I just thought that was a cool part of history. That's why I mentioned that.
No, that is fun.
And like technically because he owned that building at one point, it's, I mean, I and they obviously consider it the same thing, even though it moved locations.
Right.
So I include it as part of its history.
Yes, yes.
Also, side note, this haunted part I'm about to tell you, I had to wait to do that during the daytime because I was nervous I was going to get freaked out.
I love you.
Yeah. So, I hope this scares you as much as it scared me.
Yeah, Mackenzie does a horror and true crime podcast.
You know, I just really like to keep people on their toes. But now it's coming to bite me in the ass because I finally read about a creepy place that kind of scared me a little bit.
I actually really love that.
Well, that's nice.
Because here you are, I can handle anything if I'm reading and it's scary. And now here we are.
Yeah, New Orleans really knows how to humble a person.
All right, tell me the scariness.
Okay. According to hauntedhouses.com, quote, entities have been known to haunt furniture, items, and places which meant so much to them while they were alive, and or buildings where they have fond memories from their earthly lives.
Yes.
So staff have reported cold spots, adverse weather, which according to Cambridge Dictionary means bad weather that could cause harm or damage, because I did not know what adverse weather was.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was like, what does that mean? And of course, doors open and close on their own. Although it's interesting because they have like those window doors. It like looks like a what are those things on the outside of windows?
Windowsill? Panes? Storm door?
Mm-mm.
Glass door?
Mm-mm.
Screen door?
It's wood.
Shutters?
Thank you. like long shutter type doors that they leave open.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it's New Orleans. You're going to walk in and out, especially if it's on Bourbon Street.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine doors opening and closing, especially if it's those doors or even ones like further inside.
Yeah.
Because the place is only lit by candlelight, some of the candles get extinguished or ignited spontaneously.
Oh, that's creepy.
This place, I'm telling you, it's not ambiance like romantic candlelight dinner. No.
No, I'm picturing like eerie ambiance, but like fun eerie ambiance.
It's like I can't see
like haunted mansion
2 feet
ambiance
in front of me. That's scary.
That's really good for some people who are trying to pick up people.
That's scary.
That's the true beer goggles.
I can't see shit. That's not even beer goggles. That's blindness.
Exactly. And it helps people, I'm sure.
You're probably right. Some people have said that they have seen 2 victims from the fires that have transpired and have been described as burned, grotesque figures with a charred attire from the era.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Okay, shall we keep going?
Yes.
One of the most popular sightings is, of course, Jean Lafitte himself.
Good.
And when I say popular, all the websites were like, it's weird because a lot of people have seen him.
That's so cool.
Yeah. He is a full-bodied apparition, and he wears sailor clothing from the early 1800s.
Yeah.
He does not say a word. He just stands in the corner scanning the room. I say passing judgment. Some say just watching.
Could be as well.
But the moment you look at him and you spot him, he's gone.
Oh. I wonder, just curious. Okay, this is like perception based. So say you and I are there together. I know we won't be, but just say.
I'm sure I'm not going to go with anyone else.
Thank you. So say I see him and I make eye contact with him and he disappears to me. Does he disappear to everyone else who is looking at him at the same time?
That is an excellent question.
Because I'm curious. Because I'm curious if he just disappears from the person looking at him or if everyone is kind of seeing him at the same time and when he disappears, everyone sees him gone.
I feel like it's the first one you said. Like he's being unnoticed, but the moment one person notices him, he's gone.
Gone for everyone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Unless he's not looking at you and you see him.
Right. So like if just the person who's perceiving him, like the direct seeing him is the person who can no longer see him. So he's like kind of disappeared from their view, but he's still for everyone else.
That's an excellent question.
I am curious.
I'm sure you could go there and ask.
Okay.
I'll stand outside.
Okay. I would go in. Well, so far. I haven't heard the rest of your story, but so far I would go in.
You're going to go in.
Okay, we'll keep hearing and I will see.
He's almost always seen on the first floor near the fireplace.
Okay.
Lafitte's presence is said to be near when the aroma of cigar smoke is detected. So when I walked in here and fucking smelled a cigarette, I almost shit my pants.
Yeah, Mackenzie tells me, she's like, I come into my house and all I smell is like a cigarette.
It smelled like someone had left my balcony door open, and it doesn't help that there's a pack of cigarettes out there that are not mine. I don't smoke. They have been out there for at least a week.
Are they any of your friends?
No.
Albert.
Albert doesn't smoke.
We don't know.
Have you seen his sweater vest?
We need to post a picture of the sweater vest, by the way.
Yeah, we will. But I walk in and it smells like someone smoked a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes. Like, I'm like, this is not
right.
So when aroma of cigar smoke conjures a ghost, I'm like, oh, good. Albert knows I'm leaving. It's not going to fit.
He is.
So there are other spirits that haunt this building. On the second floor, There's a spirit of a woman who many believe lived in the building in like the 1890s.
Mm-hmm.
Legend says that she died of suicide, but there are no written records to confirm this backstory, whether she was a real person, whether she lived there, all that kind of good stuff.
Right.
However, there are still paranormal experiences to confirm that something is up there. She does not show herself very often, but she is known to whisper your name in your ear.
I wouldn't like that. I don't need that.
I read the whisper your name first, which was like, ugh. And then there was another one that said she whispers sweet nothings.
Oh. Okay, equally as terrifying?
Yes, but if I had read that one first, I would have laughed. Whispering your name, yeah.
Oh, I do have a creepy story about that. So I went to my friend's house once. This was a long time ago.
Who?
But take the name out. So we went to her house and we were watching The Alphabet Killer. And it's a movie about this guy who kills people with names that are like MM, AA, BB. So like things like that.
Oh.
So it was a good movie. But so as we're watching it, all of a sudden, what?
Like the initials of somebody.
How did the guy in the movie find it out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was so long ago.
Okay.
But anywho, one of the girls we were with had the initials MM. And so as we're watching the movie, I kid you not, we heard someone whisper her name and we all looked at each other. I was like, did any of you say that? And we all said, nope. We shut off the movie, screamed, ran upstairs, and locked ourselves in our friend's room. I have never watched that movie since because it was so terrifying.
For me, if I was in that movie, I would permanently be like, I'm Mackenzie Nil, not Kenzie Nil. I know it doesn't sound like it's illiterate, but it's KK. So nope, not anymore.
Yeah, we're MK, thank you.
We're MK, thank you very much.
But yeah, no, don't like the whispering of the names because then that means they know you. And I don't like that.
Well, it gets better.
Okay.
So also, according to another source, hauntedhouses.com,
yes,
on the second floor, you will find a mirror.
Oh, God. You know I don't like mirrors.
This mirror often shows the reflection of a female entity from a much earlier time. Still want to go?
I just won't go to the second floor.
What if it's the
Solve
only
that problem?
What if it's the only place that has seating?
Oh, there's seating on both floors?
I assume that's the only reason people are going up there.
Then I wouldn't go.
Some people speculate that it could be the spirit of Marie Laveau.
Oh!
Or the infamous Madame Delphine Lalaurie.
Oh.
But no one can know for sure.
I would want to go just to see.
It could be these two women who are attached to the mirror or a variety of women who may have lived on the second floor in the long-time business building.
Right.
The fireplace. It is located on the first floor and was said to be used as possibly a cache for Lafitte's personal supply of gold. So remember what we said earlier is that a strong connection or a personal thing.
Right.
So fireplace is a hotspot. Pun intended. People have said that the fireplace is surrounded by an unwholesome aura.
Oh.
And cold spots. In Louisiana.
By a fireplace.
Correct. Patrons of the bar who sit at the tables near the fireplace have reported being touched by cold, ghostly hands. Some people have claimed that inside the fireplace, they see glowing red eyes. These piercing eyes are said to just float, disembodied, and silent. Onlyinyourstate.com says, quote, when you make eye contact with it, the red eyes.
Why the hell would you make eye contact with it?
The eyes will lock in on you for a moment before disappearing into the shadows.
Why would you do that?
Some believe that the red eyes are a result of a demonic haunting at Lafitte's. Still want to go?
I have ticked down a couple spots.
Others say that the eyes belong to Jean Lafitte watching over his hidden treasure.
Because the demonic things to me are actually real scary.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones where I actually truly am freaked out by that stuff. Like that is the one thing that actually truly
not
freaks
a
me
cold
out.
ghostly hand touching you.
Or
a whisper in your ear.
But not as much as like a demonic entity. Yeah. Probably back away a little bit. Or just ask not to be by the fireplace.
In conclusion, Forbes.com reported that this place might be the most haunted bar in the world, which after this story, I'm like, yes.
Oh.
But not because the bar has been around for a while, but because the building is old and has been here forever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. However, they also noted that the Lafitte Blacksmith shop has a popular drink called the Grape Daiquiri.
Oh.
Or as locals like to call it, the Purple Drank.
The purple drank.
You have to say drank. It's not drink.
Okay.
It's drink.
Okay, tell me about this.
Supposedly, this is according to Forbes.com. I tried to look on their website. They didn't have a menu.
Okay.
So, according to Forbes.com, this drink is made with Everclear.
Oh.
Which Forbes says might be the likely reason that people are seeing things that aren't there. Because 2 of those and you're donezo.
Okay, incredible. I had a real bad experience with Everclear.
Or maybe they're ghosts.
Maybe a little bit, we'll mix both.
Maybe a little mix of both.
I think I would go here. I would not sit near the fireplace.
Would you go at night?
I'd want to see the ambiance of it with the candles just at night. So maybe I'd go in and get the purple drank and then leave.
Well, actually, you can.
Exactly. You can leave with the drink, the open container law. So I'd go in, scope it out, get my drink, and then leave.
We'll have Dad come with us on this trip.
Okay. Well, I told you I'm going to Louisiana with you sometime.
Yeah. Well, and I told you what my dad said when we were walking around Chickateague. I was trying to explain to him why I wouldn't go walk around by myself at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. Not even just at night, but mostly just Bourbon Street.
Right. Being a woman alone is what we're talking about.
Yeah. It might be good to be with a tall man.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are not a woman and you don't understand this,
then you are part of the problem.
Here's your little warning. But yeah, no, I would love to go.
I would love to take you there because it is by far like my favorite place on earth. Mostly because my family's from there. And when I go there, it truly feels like a second home. I couldn't tell you how to get anywhere. I couldn't tell you the name of this, that, or the other.
Well, I've been supposed to go.
Yeah.
COVID messed up one of them.
Yeah.
And then anxiety, not mine, someone else's, messed up the other one. So I haven't gone. And it's like calling to me.
We'll go. I promise.
Thank you.
I would love to take you there.
Next time you go. And even if you just want to have like your grandparents' day, I'll just go chill in the bedroom or I'll chill outside. I don't care.
No, I would love for you to meet my grandparents.
I would love to also.
So
I've heard so many good things.
Yeah. And I like taking people to New Orleans because I feel like it gets a bad name because people are like, oh, Bourbon Street is gross. Correct. Any street that's popular with bars and people partying is going to be a little nasty.
Yeah.
But we go to the places that you go if
you live there.
Yeah. We're like locals without being locals.
Right.
We're local adjacent.
Local adjacent. Yes, no, I would absolutely love to go. And I'm so sorry, we're going to have to stop by the bar. If you go with me, we'll go during the day.
We'll go during the day.
And then I will pop my head in at night. Maybe. So I can see the ambiance.
Well, it depends on what the atmosphere is like because I don't like to go to Bourbon Street.
Okay.
So we might pass over it.
We'll see where our night takes us.
Well, you know what? We'll go to St. Philip's because that's a cross street and we'll go down that one.
Okay.
Because it's on the corner of that.
Oh, okay.
So
perfect.
We'll do a cross street.
And whenever that happens in the hopefully near future, we will let everyone know.
Yeah, not in the summer though.
No, God no.
Stupid hot.
Well, yeah, that's why the near future will be like fall, winter.
I went in May and I was like, I got a heat rash.
Oh, God.
It was so fucking hot.
We'll go into our winter.
Yes, it's beautiful in December. Oh my God. There was one time we went down for Christmas. It was 70 degrees. I was wearing sandals and shorts in December. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh, we gotta go.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Lafitte Blacksmith Shop Bar. It's a bit of a confusing name. So
a little bit.
Lafitte's Bar.
But I'm intrigued.
Yeah, kind of. What's spooky tea you pouring, Lauren?
Oh, that would have been so cool if you're... Why are you messing up so much?
Oh, wait, okay, let me try it again.
All right, she's doing her fan.
What's spooky tea you pouring, Lauren?
Okay, Mackenzie can't handle... Okay, I will say the room is 79 degrees right now.
Thank you. Can't handle.
And so Mackenzie has a fan to fan herself, and she wanted to be really dramatic.
I'm drinking wine, and I get overexcited. I need a fucking fan.
Okay.
Pour the tea. To impress your future in-laws, you must show a sense of dignity. Okay, I'm done.
Y'all are so lucky. Unlucky, lucky? I don't know that you don't get to see Mackenzie quote every single line in Mulan when you watch it together.
Yeah, but it's a cool-ass party trick the first time you see it.
Dear God. Okay. Known as the ghostly light or flame, the Feu Follet legend originated in the swamps of Louisiana. Feu Follet means fire in the marsh. Feu Follet.
There you go.
Okay. Means fire in the marsh, marsh fire, or crazy fire, depending on the translation. The Feu Follet is usually described as bright or flickering balls of light randomly dancing in the dark shadows of the bayou. They have been seen in different sizes, but usually the average size is no longer than a candle flame. So we both have candles.
Question.
Mhm.
Longer. So are these skinny lights and not like balls?
They're like balls of light. Like if you see like the top of a candle.
Oh, okay.
The whole candle doesn't get lit.
I was thinking of the flame.
From a distance, a flame of a candle looks like a ball.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I was thinking not from a distance. I was thinking of a long flame, and I was like, oh, these are rectangle lights.
Oh, no. And so that size comes from one of the first times that these lights were mentioned.
Well-
Back in the times before electricity, those traveling would often look for lights to let them know that they're close to civilization. So a
Okay.
house, a person, especially if the one traveling was lost.
Like a lighthouse,
Yes, but a person.
but swamp lights.
So the light would usually come from a candle because the person traveling would have their candle as their guide. So if you're lost, traveling in the darkness, you see a candle, you're like, oh, that's a person. Or that's a house or something I'm coming up upon.
Oh.
Yeah. So the Feu Follet was not a light coming from a house or from safety. The light was seen in the swamps by lost travelers, and it would entice the traveler to continue further and further into the swamp.
That would not entice me.
The light would continue to lead them deeper.
Actually, that's a lie. Yes, it would. If I was lost and I saw a light, of course, that's exactly where
Exactly.
I'd go.
So it would lead them deeper and deeper in until that person was hopelessly lost, never to leave the swamp again.
It's like Finding Nemo. I would just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
I'm like, oh, look, it's a light.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty.
So the phrase
Happy feeling gone.
Feu Follet comes from the Acadians. They were exiled by British command in the mid-1700s. At the time, the North American British colonies were Protestant. Thousands of Acadian families were ordered to leave their homes due to their Catholic heritage and their refusal to take on these new Protestant influences. Those exiled migrated to several different places, but one group of about 200 eventually settled in Louisiana, declaring this their newfound home. These families soon became known as the Cajuns.
Ah, yes, I was just about to ask.
Yes.
I love their accents.
Oh, I know.
Ugh.
So Cajun oral tradition has passed on the stories of these lights for centuries. So there are positive and good versions of the Feu Follet. In 1901, French manuscript describes them as, quote, les feux follets, uneasy and joyful, illuminating consciousness.
I
But
think
plural.
is consciousnesses.
Consciences?
Is it like octopus where it's just automatically plural?
No, this is a quote.
That doesn't mean they were speaking proper English.
Consciences.
I've been terrible lately at saying the word conscience, so
Consciences.
consciences.
And hearts. Across the feverish world, the Feu Follet, a vacillating reflection of human thoughts, wants to shine.
Why did you choose the most complicated quote?
I don't know. It just shows that these things are kind of joyful.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say, I don't even know what that means.
It means they're joyful. Others say that they are the spirits or even the ghosts of loved ones who have recently passed, coming to bid one final farewell. It is a semblance of peace, assuring the Cajuns that their loved ones are visiting them once again and bringing them good fortune.
We love some happy spirits.
Another legend or origin says that a young girl was buried out on the lonely stretch of road where these lights are seen. Her distraught parents placed a burning candle on her unmarked grave every evening to keep her company. After the parents passed on, a light continued to guard the grave of the young girl. So the Feu Follet is simply a guardian. So we have some good stories of what these lights are.
I don't think I would bury my child on the side of the road where they were killed.
I know.
But that's maybe just a me preference.
But there are more tales of the Feu Follet being evil entities or even evil angels. It's a hard thing to say. Some believe that these evil entities lay in wait for those unlucky enough to stumble upon them. The entity uses the lights as a distraction, hoping to lure the unfortunate person deeper into the swamp, where that person eventually gets lost or just drowns.
It is like Finding Nemo.
Right, exactly. Some claim that it is the spirit of a lost child who left its nursery and wasn't able to find their way back home. Going off of this, others say that these lights are the souls of unbaptized babies.
That seems very specific to a particular group.
Well, because if you think about it, though, them being very Catholic, with their Catholic beliefs, everyone needs to be baptized. Right. And so if the baby ends up passing away before they're baptized, their soul has nowhere to go.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it sounds a bit niche.
Right, yeah. So if you follow these lights, again, they'll lead you deep into the swamp, and you will remain lost until daybreak if you survive the night.
Okay, question. What if these are unbaptized souls, do only the unbaptized get sucked in?
I don't think so. I think it's just kind of anyone, any lost traveler. Some legends say that the Feu Follet likes to return to babies' nurseries. So, like, there could be a baby in the nursery, and if these are unbaptized baby souls, they like to return to a nursery. So if in the morning your child wakes up with rosy cheeks, you know that the Feu Follet visited in the night to steal some of the baby's breath.
Or if you're like me and you have to go potty, your face turns red.
Interesting.
And so...
But if you're a baby, I feel like you just kind of go.
Oh, that's how my mom knew. Was that my face turned red and my eyes changed color. Or they would start to water.
You probably terrified her. The first time it happened, she's probably like, what the hell is happening?
Also, my cheeks turned red at the drop of a hat. So really.
So you're excluded from this.
Okay.
So some believe it is a soul sent back from the dead to do God's penance, but instead, the soul attacks people for vengeance. Usually it engages in harmless, mischievous acts, but sometimes it sucks the blood of children.
Did it not see Pirates of the Caribbean with Davy Jones and what happened when he stopped doing his job that he was destined to do? He turned it into a fucking octopus face.
And so this one could be good or evil, but there are some who believe that these lights are the many fairies of the swamp.
I love that.
Well, sometimes the fae, like the whole culture of the fae, can be good, but sometimes they're really evil and you should not mess with them at all.
Well, hopefully these ones are nice.
Hopefully.
Sounds like they're more nice than bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some say that it is the spirits of those who lost their lives trying to protect the treasures of famous pirates, such as...
Moi!
Your pirate, Jean Lafitte, and William Kidd.
Yes.
So this goes that whenever a pirate was burying a treasure, they would kill one of their crew. They would toss the body and the treasure into the hole that was dug. That way, the dead man's spirit was tied to the treasure and would forever guard it from thieves trying to take the treasure.
This is a first.
Yeah.
I've not heard of this theory.
I have before, once or twice. So I think when we covered Blackbeard, he would throw his guys on top.
Interesting. Because I knew that this guy had some treasure, but I was like, I can't focus my whole thing on his life story.
Right.
But that's actually kind of genius.
Yeah. So then it was believed that when the original pirate would come back for their treasure, the spirit of the dead pirate would be able to be released and would turn into a ball of light. The Feu Follet.
Okay, because if I'm going to get revenge or get at anybody, it's going to be the motherfucker who killed me and left me here.
Right. Right. But no, they just turn into a light. So there are plenty of stories about these lights, and the Times Herald Record tells a story of the Feu Follet coming from this pirate belief.
I keep feeling like you're going to say Foo Fighters.
I know. Well, that's how I remember how to say the first part.
Yeah.
So this story goes, quote, one night, two men... What? It's a quote of the story.
The story goes, quote.
Well, because I'm quoting the whole story. I'm not paraphrasing it.
I know, but you were so the story goes, quote. Yeah. You'll listen back and you'll be like, yeah, that's weird.
Quote, one night, two men were working on the railroad near Lake Pontchartrain. Pontchartrain, that's what it looks like. What?
Pontchartrain.
Pontchartrain.
So nice to me on this side.
I think the story, because I copied and pasted this, they have an extra R in there.
Have you ever seen Chapatulas? You know what it starts with? A T.
Oh.
So.
Pterodactyl, Worcester.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're near this lake. When they saw a soft blue light moving through the trees. What's that? Jean asked to Luke, and Luke shook his head. They both had heard tales of the Feu Follet from the local people. You've heard of the treasures they guard, haven't you? Jean asked his partner. Of course I have, Luke said. A moment later, it was as if the same thought had crossed through both men's minds. Suddenly and without a word, they both grabbed their shovels and began to run toward the light, thinking of the marvelous treasure that the spirit must be guarding. Soon it would be theirs. The light kept moving, and so did Luke and Jean. Jean?
It's depending on whether you have a French accent or not.
I'm French, I have to embrace it. When it finally stopped, the men were deep into the swamps, and they watched as the light began to sink into the damp earth. This must be where the treasure is buried, they whispered, and they began to dig. They were soaking in sweat, but they didn't mind. This would be the beginning of a whole new life, a life of leisure, they imagined. Both men were dreaming the same dream, and so they dug with all the strength they had. Suddenly, Luke struck something hard, and both men heard the clank of the shovel. That's it, Jean cried, and they dropped to their knees and began to brush away the dirt. Soon they reached a large wooden chest. We are rich, Luke said. But Jean's mind was spinning, and he thought how good it would be to not have to share this treasure. So he raised his shovel in the air and struck Luke over the head. It's all mine, Jean said, as he began to pull on the chest, yanking as hard as he could to lift it out of the swampy earth. But as he worked,
Shouldn't wait until you had it out of the earth. Make sure your friend helps you finish the job before you kill
it. But as he worked, the ground under his feet began to sink, and soon he and the chest were drowned in mud.
That's what you get for being a greedy motherfucker.
This is when Luke came to, and he saw Jean staring in horror as he and the treasure sank into the ground. Terrified and heartbroken that his friend would betray him, Luke slowly got to his feet, and though he was woozy, he ran back to their campsite as fast as he could.
Damn
There,
straight.
he crawled into his tent and shivered through the night. When the sun rose the next morning, Luke walked back to the direction they had gone the night before, but the only thing he found in the swamp was his shovel and Jean's. How strange that they did not drown as well, he said, carefully reaching to lift them, when suddenly he heard a whoosh and a hoot. Then he heard a strange, spooky laughter dancing on the wall, mocking him, and he hurried back to the campsite as fast as he could. As the years passed, Luke repeatedly told the story of what had happened to Jean, yet few of his fellow railroad workers ever believed him. It was the Feu Follet who killed him, Luke insisted, and the others shook their head. But on those nights when a blue light appeared in the distance, the railroad workers quickly slipped inside their tents. After that incident, Luke walked away with a saying, and it went like this: "The treasures we work for are the treasures we'll have." So that goes with the whole
Hard work pays off.
Well, yes, but the pirate buried treasure.
Yeah.
And like that, it was believed that you see the light, it's leading you to the treasure.
Well, and that might have worked out for them had not Jean get greedy. Question, speaking of buried treasure.
Yeah.
How long would you dig for?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of upper body strength, so I don't
Same.
know if I would dig very long. And then your hands would get blistery.
And you're in Louisiana.
If I knew there was a treasure.
Like, for sure.
For sure, I would dig as long as I needed to.
Like, holes kind of, I bet you it's in this one.
Yes. Then I would dig.
Yeah.
Forever if I needed to.
Versus a legend of, like, maybe it's leading you to gold.
Maybe it's
not.
here, then I really don't know how long I would dig.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to dig long.
Yeah, but then you have a friend like me who gets fixated on things until they find the answer, and I would keep digging.
It's like the whole Curse of Oak Island.
Yes.
Yeah, where they just keep digging.
Yeah.
So these tales and beliefs don't just come from Cajun culture, though. Lights like these appear in all origins and locations. Treasure lights are of Danish origin and suggest that they are the marking place of treasure. Corpse candles is another name and suggests that these are the souls of the departed. Fairy lights suggest that they are the work of fairies. In African-American folklore, it is believed that on dark nights, the Feu Follet leads its victims, who is obliged to follow. Like, they have no choice. They see the light, they have to follow. Either in the river where they are drowned, or in bushes of thorns where they are torn to pieces.
Hey!
So they have no choice.
Ouch.
So it's easy to see that legends of these lights expand all over.
Yeah.
These lights seem to align nicely with the will-o'-the-wisps, the name commonly used in other parts of the U.S. So in Louisiana, it's Feu Follet. Other places, it's will-o'-the-wisps.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Well, I will go into it and we will see if you do.
Okay.
So these small balls of lights lure unsuspecting travelers off the well-known and beaten path and deeper into the woods, ultimately leading to the traveler's demise. So deeper into the woods instead of deeper into the swamps. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just like the Feu Follet, they too seem to have an evil nature to them, with some saying that it is a satanic sprite. Satan things don't like them. It is believed that these will-o'-the-wisps are carried by spirits who have been banned from both heaven and hell and have been cursed to the earth, where they haunt and wreak havoc for the living.
I'm not going to lie. If I couldn't get into heaven, I'd rather be cursed to earth.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
if I couldn't get into that one where it was all nice and...
But it's making it sound even worse because both heaven and hell don't want you. So like worse than hell is the earth. That's my interpretation of that.
Yes. What I think I would hone in on is that I'm like, damn, hell didn't even want me?
Right. Was I really that bad?
Was I not bad enough to where I'm like, this little bitch, he can't come down here.
I'd probably want to go with that one.
Yeah.
So Will-o'-the-Wisps is short for William of the Wisps. His story goes that there was a blacksmith named William. When he died, he went to heaven and met St. Peter at the Golden Gates. But William hadn't been a great guy in his life, so St. Peter asked William to try again, to do better in the second life. So William went back.
I didn't know you got a second chance.
William did. So he went back for round 2 and did not do any better. His deeds were so monstrous that St. Peter cursed him to roam the land forever, not wanting him in heaven. But the devil had sympathy for William and gave him a piece of coal to warm himself on those bitterly cold nights. Well, remember that William was evil. Instead of using the coal to warm himself, he made it into a torch and used it to lure people into danger. So hell didn't really want him either.
Yeah.
A second story goes that the will-o'-the-wisp
Too bad.
is the lost soul of a man named Jack. With Jack's story, he was denied entry to the underworld and would haunt the night with a homemade light, made from a coal burning inside of a carved turnip. Sound familiar to the jack-o'-lantern?
What?
Jack-o'-lanterns used to be turnips.
Oh, yeah.
And this is how they had their story from
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I've heard these before, because it's part of the origin story for jack-o'-lanterns.
Yes.
Okay.
So some sightings of the will of the wisps include a ball of fire, like a lantern or a torch, appeared to be carried by a dark, shadowy figure. The figure is never able to be clearly seen. Angelo Normand from PelicanStateOfMind.com said, quote, "We call them jack-lanterns. They're the spirits of natives. They look like people fishier walking around with lanterns." I guess just suspicious. They stay the same distance from you as you try to approach them. Once you're lost, the lights will surround you and start laughing. Then you'll panic and start running, and that's when you end up killing yourself. My dad and his triplet brother experienced them in Marksville.
What an odd phrase.
I know.
Just a singular triplet mother.
1/3. You go past the cemetery, then past the old French cemetery, then past the native burial mounds into the swamp. Do that at night and you might run into them. It's easy to get lost in the swamps, especially at night.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost anywhere at night.
Children are urged to never follow the lights,
Duh.
explaining that it is a monster or demon trying to lure them to their early death. There's actually this one lady, I can't remember her name, but she writes like Mama's Louisiana Tales. And so she writes stories of all of these urban legends that you can read to your children. And so it's like the one about this, the Feu Follet, is like, be good, listen, they're always watching you, kind of like Elf on the Shelf, like kind of Santa version. And so it's a whole story, like a very cute kid's story that you can read to your children about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought that was very clever. The Feu Follet are small orbs of light that are often sighted in the trees and near the ground around the swamps, marshes, and bogs. But they aren't just in the swamps of Louisiana. There have been reports as far back as the 1840s of these lights being spotted in South Louisiana cemeteries and Lake Charles. The Bilbo Cemetery, for one.
The who?
Bilbo.
Bilbo. Like Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah. What's that from?
A Hobbit.
Yeah.
I probably said that name wrong, and we're about to have a bunch of people come in hot with...
No, that sounded good because I picked up on it. So I think we're right.
I knew it was from a thing.
When Joe and I had COVID, we watched all of the Lord of the Rings.
The reason why I made that Pirates of the Caribbean reference is because I watched the first 3 yesterday.
Oh my God.
I still gotta watch the last 2.
We could watch one tonight as we eat.
We could.
Okay. There have been many reports of glowing balls of light floating around headstones. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the cemetery while we're here. So the Bilbo Cemetery is located along the I-10 into Lake Charles. If you turn onto Veterans Memorial Boulevard, you will notice a small cemetery right there off the water's edge. It is noticeable due to the old crypts and a very large statue of Jesus, all of which are visible from the road.
I'm telling you, seeing those cemeteries in New Orleans, because they're all above ground, is freaky.
Yes. So the Millennium Statue of Jesus Christ...
Nice.
Is a 15-foot bronze statue.
Okay.
It stands on an 8-foot base and is 23 feet tall.
Damn.
Yes. It was sculpted by Janie Stein LaCroix, a descendant of John Jacob Bryan Jr.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
I was waiting for that. Who I'll get to in a second.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt?
No, John Jacob Bryan. So the cemetery was established on April 8th, 1840, with the burial of Margaret Bilbo, how it got its name. It gained more fame when the father of Charles Lake, a man named John Jacob Bryan Jr., was buried here. He was born on February 14th, 1816, and died on December 17th, 1899. Ryan Street, the busiest road in Lake Charles, is named after our famous man. Though there are only about 20 or so graves in the cemetery, it is one of the oldest in Louisiana and houses graves from World War I veterans as well as from the Civil War.
Talk to me when you got like revolutionary people up in there.
I don't know. That's what I said.
I feel like because of Virginia, we got all these fucking battlegrounds everywhere. That
I know.
Of course, Civil War. I want some revolutionary shit.
Right. The site of the cemetery was once the earlier site of an ancient Attakapas Indian village. And after that, from 1829 to 1832, it served as the location for the U.S. Army military post Cantonment Atkinson. So, that's just a little bit.
The cemetery was?
Yeah, the site of the cemetery.
Interesting.
There were stories of the lights chasing groups of people who came to view it, sometimes even splitting into 2 while chasing people.
That sounds like a scary movie.
These lights are usually seen on Roddy Road, somewhere between Canton Road and Bayou Narcisse Road. Leon Goutreux, a lifetime resident of Gonzales, an area where the light is seen, said, quote, Roddy Road ran north and south, and Canton and Bayou Narcisse ran east and west. It was somewhere in that area. So that's where these lights are seen. One group had quite the experience with the lights. They were exploring a countryside near Gonzales. They arrived at the location where the lights are known to be spotted. They started smoking, just hanging out, talking, looking out for the lights. Then soon out in the distance, they started to see them. The lights remained and were visible for about an hour, so all 3 guys in the group could see them. but the lights were so faint, it was easy to say that your eyes were just playing tricks on you. One of the guys, Dixon, had recently gotten a spinal... What?
Before you said son, I just thought you were going to say one of the guys' dicks.
Dixon had recently gotten a spinal tumor removed, so he was in recovery. He's just kind of
the first thing I'm going to do is go to a fucking creepy-ass place with weird lights.
I know. So the recovery was leaving him partially handicapped, where he had no control of his right leg. Yeah. But whenever the lights appeared, his right leg would begin vibrating and tapping rapidly on the floorboard. The foot he had no control over.
That's weird.
Yeah. The group of 3 wanted to return, but wanted to bring more friends this time. Other friends who also wanted to see the lights. So another night rolled around and the group went to the same viewing location. Again, they saw the lights, but this time the colors changed from red to blue to green and various colors and back again. The lights were small.
A whole rave out there.
I know. The lights were small in size, a bit larger than a basketball.
Basketball. Sorry.
It had no hard edges, so it wasn't well defined, but it also wasn't a vague shape, so it was just kind of there. But it was brighter than all the other times. The lights came and went for about an hour or so, like they did the time before. The group of guys wanted to see if they could possibly debunk what they were seeing. They wanted to see what could be making this light, so they thought it was a car. So one guy and his friend got into his car, drove down the path that they saw the lights coming from, and started turning on and off the car, turning around, backing up. All these things to see if they could replicate the lights that they had seen.
Say replicate again.
Replicate the lights they could see. When they returned to their friends, the friends all said that the car lights looked nothing like the lights they had been seeing. As they were standing around, they noticed lights again. This time, they seemed to be a little bit brighter and a little bit closer. Suddenly, the light charged at them, coming closer and growing brighter and larger as it charged. It moved rapidly and was almost at them in a matter of a few seconds. The group booked it back to their cars and were about to tear out of there. Right as they were about to, one of the friends called out, "It's gone." They went back to investigate and found nothing to explain what they had seen.
Question. Okay, so like when my kids are running around and they're not supposed to be, and I tell them to stop, and they go, "Man was chasing me." I'm like, don't fucking run.
They were afraid of those lights. If the lights are charging at me, I'd run.
Okay, but how many people just like stand there and wait for the person to catch up with them? That would be very off-putting.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do.
I wouldn't.
Most likely because they'd be frozen in fear.
These lights I don't think would be frozen in fear.
No, I would be frozen in fear.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd book it.
I'm just, what happens if I don't run? You can't chase me.
Yeah, they could just attack you instead.
I'm aware. I'm just thinking of alternatives.
Stupid logic.
Well, it works for children.
These lights are not children. So once it disappeared, they go back to try to see.
Why would you fucking go back?
They're trying to debunk it.
You didn't need a light chasing after you to prove everything that you may have been questioning?
Well,
you ran away.
They finally concluded that they had seen the Gonzales lights, or the Feu Follet. While these lights may seem scary, have no fear. There are ways to protect yourself from them. Do you want to just fancy a guess?
A crucifix?
No.
No. Baptized? No. Flashlight?
No. Okay. So if you stick a knife into the ground.
What the fuck?
Or into a fence post.
Why would I be able to guess that?
Supposedly, the light will dance around the blade instead of bothering you.
So it's like if you take like a blue light outside to attract the bugs so they're away from you.
Yeah.
You take a knife and put it in the ground so it's attract. That's so fucking weird.
Some Cajuns say you must use a needle instead, which coaxes the light to try to pass through the eye of it.
Oh, it's been a little game.
Which is very difficult for it, so it takes a long time.
Little game.
It is also said that you can keep the Feu Follet away by scattering mustard seeds on the floor. It will try to stop and count the seeds.
Mustard, so
there's a lot of things that we've talked about that have to stop and count things.
That's such an ADHD move. Oh, seeds.
The Feu Follet will lose track and will be distracted by having to count the seeds that it will forget to steal the baby's breath.
Am I a Feu Follet? I think so.
You're a Feu Follet.
I think I might be a Feu Follet.
So we've talked about different lights like this, and the theory that is usually put out there to describe it is swamp lights.
I was about to ask that.
Yep.
Because we're in Louisiana, there's a lot of swamps.
Yep. So Fabled Collective said, quote, "Swamps and bogs are stagnant water deprived of oxygen, which is the ideal environment for bacteria and microorganisms to thrive. These organisms consume dead plant matter and release methane and phosphine gas."
They fart.
Phosphine gas is believed to be the cause of the eerie, mysterious orbs. Some scientists say
bacteria farts.
Some scientists say that phosphine will spontaneously combust. I mean, Others believe that the orbs are actually bioluminescence, similar to that of a lightning bug.
I was going to ask if it's lightning bugs, but I've also noticed that I hardly see those anymore. I don't know if it's because of where we live.
We took Roy out yesterday to go to the bathroom, Joe and I, and we saw fireflies. And Joe goes, fireflies? I said, yes, it's summer. And he goes, I'm just shocked to see them.
See, that's what I'm saying. I saw one the other night where I saw one light up. I was like,
because remember when the whole, like, the woods
I
used
feel
to
like
be filled with them?
used to see them everywhere.
Like, we used to
all the
catch
time.
them often.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like a bug I liked.
Yeah.
There's not many, but I would do that one.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you... Did I say this already?
We talked about this, yes.
Okay.
For those of you wondering, if you eat like 6 of them, you can die. 12, you can die.
Well, and I don't know if it's eat them, but like they're technically poisonous.
Yeah.
Definitely poisonous.
Poisonous.
Yes, that one was right. And if you can collect like 12 of them.
12 of their like luminescence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, wow, 10 million.
Die 1,000 deaths. Science suggests that the lights could be phosphorescent lights that can be seen at night floating over marshy grounds, and that it is simply a result of the combustion of natural gases such as methane again.
What if scientists are like, oh, it's this phosphate, sulfate, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's not that scientific thing. It's the other thing.
What other thing? Methane?
No. Like, it's not the scientific explanation. Like,
it's like
gas.
the spooky thing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
But they have be like, oh, well, because, I mean, who really understands science except for scientists?
Right.
And so phosphate, blue fate, whatever. I'm like, what if that's what they say because that's what they think?
Yeah.
But really,
yeah,
it's all the other stuff.
Yeah. So they say that these are gases emitted by organic decomposition and decaying animal carcasses. So they literally catch fire in the air, and those are the lights that are seen.
Dead farts.
Yeah. But I mean, it also kind of brings up the point, like, you know, we have like Bigfoot and we have the chupacabra and all of these like cryptids.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if like back then, like an ape was a cryptid until we knew what it was and studied it, and now it's an actual animal.
Yeah.
So like it's all of these animals that maybe we just haven't studied yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so they're actual animals. We just haven't studied them enough, so now they're cryptids.
And they're rare.
Yeah. So to end this, either you believe the legend, you believe science. But should you ever find...
Or you could do both. Depends on what the science is being applied to.
But should you ever find yourself in the swamps of Louisiana at night, just be careful and make sure you don't follow the light.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So those are your Feu Follet.
What if you have a light? If you have like a flashlight or a lantern?
Okay.
Do they still show up?
I mean, maybe if you're lost, probably.
Because I feel like if you're lost, you're looking for the light, and therefore that's what attracts you to it.
Right.
If you already have a light.
Well, but even if you're lost, you're looking for the light because you think it's another person.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you're looking for the light to help you see. It's that you're looking for the light because that's a person.
Well, now I'm never going to think it's a person.
Right. Feu Follet, no thank you. But then you have the will of the wisps, which doesn't... It's not necessarily for like people who are lost. It's more people who are on well-known trails. And they see this light and they just follow the light.
Oh my God, why are words so hard today?
I don't know. It could be the one.
Like a hypnosis kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And then the one from the African-American folklore is like, it's like this hypnosis that you're just drawn to it.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like what the eyes were.
Yeah.
It sucks you in.
Yeah, you're drawn to it. You can't look away even if you wanted to.
I mean, it is red lights that look like eyes.
Right.
I would look.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't go.
No. Well, and here's the thing. I don't follow anything. If I don't know for sure what it is, I'm going to leave that a mystery. I'm like, that looks pretty. Not for me.
Smart way to do it.
Correct.
But yeah, Louisiana's got some creepy stuff going on.
Which really, not surprising.
Not surprising at all.
Not surprising at all.
No.
You got a whole bunch of different cultures down there, all mixing stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
bound to be creepy.
Concocting something up in there.
Yeah.
So, but I was going to say I love Louisiana. I don't. I really, truly don't like Louisiana, especially right now.
Just New Orleans.
I love New Orleans, and it makes me so sad that it's in that state.
I know.
So, honestly, right now, the governor of Louisiana, I hope you hear this, you can go fuck yourself. So.
You heard it here?
47 in state rankings for education. But yeah, let's go ahead and put up the 10 Commandments. Nah, motherfucker. Your kids can't read.
Separation of fucking church and state.
You couldn't even read the commandments if you wanted them to.
Right.
You're 47th in education.
Right.
And he's a racist asshole. So like I said, not a fan of Louisiana. Love New Orleans.
Yeah, that's like how we're from Northern Virginia, but we don't really associate ourselves with Virginia.
Except for the flag, because I think it's really fucking cool that we have a lady on there with the titty out.
It is the cool flag.
I have Virginia pride, but I make sure it's very clear that I'm from Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia pride. Yes.
Yes. I'm like, that's my state I can talk shit about.
You cannot.
Yeah. But yeah, I will be the first to admit, you go outside these city limits and it's a whole different place.
Whole new world.
See, you get my vibe.
Well, we'll end this to go take care of a dog. So follow us on all the social medias.
That's none of my business. I don't know what that is, but it is none of my business.
Follow on all the social medias at A Scary State Podcast.
Also, shout out to some of the people who followed us on Twitter. I don't know if they're real or bots or not, but like it's kind of making me feel guilty I don't post more on Twitter, so I might try to do that.
Yeah.
So if you don't follow us on Twitter, you should.
You should.
Maybe I'll post more memes. I gotta get back into that.
Yeah, you do.
I was so creative.
Those were good.
Yeah.
All right, so stay scary.
Please stay safe.